First contact and cultural shock. The day Earth joined the Galactic Federation was one Dr. Amelia Chen would never forget. As the newly appointed Dean of the United Earth Medical Academy, she stood on the podium, her heart racing as she addressed the first class of alien medical students. The auditorium burst with a cacophony of chirps, clicks, and otherworldly sounds as beings from across the galaxy settled into their seats. "Welcome, esteemed guests, to Earth," Amelia began, her voice steady despite her nerves. "We are honored to host you as part of the Galactic Medical Exchange Program. Over the next solar cycle, you will study human physiology, our medical practices, and the unique challenges we face in healthcare. In return, we hope to learn from your vast knowledge and experience." As she spoke, Amelia's eyes scanned the audience. There were blob-like creatures that seemed to ooze over their chairs, crystalline beings that refracted light in dazzling patterns, and even gaseous entities contained within shimmering force fields. It was a far cry from the human medical students she was accustomed to teaching. In the front row, a tall, willowy being with iridescent skin raised what appeared to be a hand. Its voice, when it spoke, was like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. "Honored Instructor Chen, I am Zixlith from the Lumina Cluster. We've heard tales of human resilience, but also of your species' fragility. How do you reconcile these contradictions?" Amelia smiled, appreciating the directness of the question. "An excellent inquiry, Zixlith. Humans are indeed a paradox. We are simultaneously fragile and resilient. Our bodies are vulnerable to countless diseases and injuries, yet we have developed remarkable abilities to heal and adapt. This duality is at the core of human medicine." A gelatinous mass in the back row burbled and shifted, forming pseudopods that waved excitedly. "But instructor," it gurgled, "we've heard humans willingly consume substances that damage their bodies. Is this true?" A ripple of astonishment passed through the alien students. Amelia chuckled, realizing she was in for an interesting year. "Yes, that's correct. Some humans engage in practices like consuming alcohol or participating in extreme sports. These behaviors, while potentially harmful, often serve social or cultural purposes. Understanding the connection between human biology and behavior is crucial for comprehending our approach to medicine." As the questions continued, Amelia found herself explaining concepts she had always taken for granted. The alien students were fascinated by the idea of sleep, baffled by the concept of allergies, and utterly perplexed by the human reproductive system. "You mean to tell us," chirped a small, avian-like creature, "that human offspring gestate inside the body for 9 months and then emerge through a small opening? How does the species survive?" Amelia launched into an explanation of human childbirth, noting the mix of horror and awe on the alien faces, or what passed for faces among some species. She realized that this exchange wasn't just about teaching alien students, it was about seeing humanity through new eyes. As the orientation session came to a close, Amelia felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. "Tomorrow," she announced, "we'll begin with a thorough examination of human anatomy. Please be prepared for some surprises." The next day, Amelia stood before a holographic projection of a human body, surrounded by her alien students. She couldn't help but smile at their reactions as she began the lesson. "Let's start with the basics," she said, manipulating the hologram to zoom in on the human heart. "This is the human heart, a muscular organ that pumps blood throughout our bodies." Zixlith's iridescent skin flickered with patterns of light. "Fascinating. A single organ to circulate fluids? How inefficient compared to our distributed circulatory nodes." Amelia nodded, "Perhaps, but the human heart is remarkably resilient. It beats about 100,000 times a day, pumping over 7,500 liters of blood through about 96,000 kilometers of blood vessels." A collective gasp rippled through the room. The gelatinous student from the day before, who had introduced itself as Blob, oozed forward slightly. "But what if it stops? Surely such a critical single point of failure is a design flaw." "An understandable concern, Blob," Amelia replied. When the heart stops, it's indeed critical. However, humans have developed techniques to restart it, like cardiopulmonary resuscitation and defibrillation. We've even created artificial hearts and can perform heart transplants. The avian creature, Kriak, ruffled its feathers in agitation. Transplants. You remove organs from one body and place them in another. How barbaric. Amelia held up a hand. I understand it might seem that way, Kriak, but organ transplantation has saved countless lives. It's a testament to both human medical advancement and the compassion of donors who choose to give the gift of life even after death. As the lesson progressed, Amelia found herself constantly surprised by the perspectives of her alien students. They were shocked by the concept of bones, internal rigid structures. How do you molt? Amazed by the complexity of the human brain, a centralized processor. How vulnerable, and utterly baffled by the immune system. You mean your bodies wage constant warfare against invaders? By the end of the day, Amelia was exhausted but exhilarated. As the students filed out, chattering excitedly among themselves, she couldn't help but feel a sense of pride in humanity's achievements. Her reflections were interrupted by a gentle tap on her shoulder. She turned to find Zixlith, the Luminon student, standing behind her. Instructor Chen, Zixlith said, its skin shimmering with what Amelia was learning to recognize as excitement. I must express my gratitude. Today's lesson was illuminating. I find humans to be far more complex and fascinating than I had anticipated. Amelia smiled warmly. Thank you, Zixlith. I'm glad you found it interesting. May I ask what surprised you the most? Zixlith's form seemed to pulse with light as it considered the question. I think it's the duality of human existence. You are so fragile, yet so resilient. Your bodies are constantly under threat, yet you've developed incredible means of defense and repair. It's beautiful, in a way. Amelia nodded, touched by the alien's insight. That's a wonderful observation, Zixlith. Humans have always been defined by our ability to adapt and overcome. Our medical science is a reflection of that spirit. As Zixlith left, Amelia turned back to her notes, preparing for the next day's lesson. She had a feeling that this exchange program would teach her as much about humanity as it would teach her alien students. The following weeks brought new challenges and surprises. Amelia found herself navigating cultural misunderstandings and alien biology as much as she was teaching human medicine. One memorable incident occurred during a lesson on the human digestive system. Blob, the gelatinous student, had been particularly fascinated by the concept of eating solid food. So you're saying, Blob burbled, its form rippling with what Amelia had learned was confusion, that humans intentionally put external substances into their bodies, break them down with acids and enzymes, extract nutrients, and then expel the waste. And you do this multiple times a day? Amelia nodded. That's correct, Blob. It's how we obtain the energy and nutrients we need to survive. Blob's form shuddered. But isn't that dangerous? Introducing foreign matter into your system. It can be, Amelia admitted. That's why we have systems in place to protect us. Our sense of taste and smell help us identify potential toxins, our immune system guards against pathogens, and our digestive system is designed to break down a wide variety of substances. Kriak chittered from its perch, but I've observed humans consuming substances that they know are harmful. Why would they do this? Amelia sighed, realizing she was about to open a complex topic. Humans sometimes engage in behaviors that aren't strictly beneficial for their health. This can be due to cultural practices, personal enjoyment, or even addiction. A complex interplay of biology and psychology that can compel individuals to repeat harmful behaviors. The alien students buzzed with a mix of fascination and horror. Zixlith's skin flickered rapidly. Is this not contrary to the prime directive of survival? In a purely biological sense, yes, Amelia conceded. But humans are complex beings. Our actions are driven by more than just survival instincts. We seek pleasure, challenge ourselves, and sometimes take risks for various reasons. Understanding this complexity is crucial for practicing medicine on Earth. As the lesson concluded, Amelia could see that her students were grappling with these new concepts. She reminded herself that their reactions, while sometimes amusing, were valuable opportunities for mutual understanding. The true test of this understanding came a few days later, when the Academy hosted its first integrated practical session. Human and alien medical students worked side by side, examining patients, holographic simulations for safety reasons, and discussing treatment options. Amelia watched with pride as Zixlith collaborated with a human student named Alex, their different perspectives combining to form a comprehensive diagnosis. Nearby, Blob was explaining the concept of osmotic regulation to a fascinated group of human students, its gelatinous body serving as a living model. As she observed the interactions, Amelia felt a surge of hope for the future. This exchange wasn't just about medical knowledge, it was about building bridges between vastly different species, fostering understanding and cooperation that could benefit the entire galaxy. The day ended with a shared meal, a concept that still bemused many of the alien students. As Amelia watched humans and aliens alike attempting to navigate the challenges of interspecies dining etiquette, she couldn't help but laugh. It was a perfect metaphor for their entire experience. Awkward, sometimes messy, but ultimately nourishing for all involved. As the first part of the Galactic Medical Exchange program drew to a close, Amelia knew that they had only scratched the surface. The coming months would bring new challenges, deeper understanding, and undoubtedly more surprises. But one thing was certain, both humans and aliens would emerge from this experience forever changed. Their perspectives broadened and their appreciation for the diversity of life in the universe deepened. With a smile, Amelia began preparing for their next adventure in interstellar medicine. The journey had only just begun. The human immune system, a new frontier. As the Galactic Medical Exchange Program entered its second phase, Dr. Amelia Chen found herself facing a new challenge. The alien students had progressed from basic human anatomy to more complex systems, and today's topic was one that never failed to amaze: the human immune system. Amelia stood before the class, a holographic representation of human blood cells floating beside her. Today, she began, we'll be exploring what I consider to be one of humanity's greatest marvels, our immune system. Zixlith's iridescent skin pulsed with curiosity. Honored instructor, we've heard rumors that human bodies are constantly at war. Is this true? Amelia smiled, appreciating the Luminan's perceptiveness. In a way, yes. Our immune system is like an incredibly sophisticated army, constantly on guard against invaders. She manipulated the hologram, zooming in on a white blood cell. These are leukocytes, or white blood cells. They're the frontline soldiers of our immune system. Blob burbled excitedly, its gelatinous form rippling. You mean these tiny things protect your entire body? How fascinating. Indeed, Amelia nodded, and they're not alone. Our immune system is a complex network of cells, tissues, and organs all working together to defend our bodies. As she delved deeper into the intricacies of T cells, B cells, and antibodies, Amelia could see a mix of awe and confusion on her students' faces. The concept of a body attacking itself to protect against invaders was clearly foreign to many of them. Kriak shirked hesitantly. But instructor, what if this army makes a mistake? Surely such an aggressive system must sometimes harm the very body it's meant to protect. Amelia's expression turned serious. An excellent observation, Priak. You're describing what we call autoimmune disorders, where the immune system mistakenly attacks the body's own cells. It's one of the many challenges we face in human medicine. The class buzzed with questions and comments, each species relating the concept to their own biology. Amelia felt a surge of excitement. This exchange of ideas was exactly what the program was about. However, their academic discussions were about to be put to a very real test. A few days later, as Amelia was overseeing a practical session on human blood analysis, a commotion erupted in the lab. Alex, one of the human students, had collapsed. "Give him space," Amelia called out, rushing to Alex's side. The alien students hovered anxiously, their various appendages and sensory organs twitching with concern. Amelia quickly assessed Alex's condition. His skin was flushed, his breathing rapid. "He's running a high fever," she muttered, her mind racing through possibilities. Zixlif approached cautiously, its skin flickering with worried patterns. "Instructor, is this an immune response we discussed? The body increasing its temperature to fight invaders?" "Yes," Amelia nodded, "but this level of fever is concerning. We need to get him to the medical bay immediately." As they rushed Alex to the Academy's state-of-the-art medical facility, Amelia couldn't shake a feeling of unease. Something about this didn't seem like a typical illness. Her suspicions were confirmed when, over the next few days, more students, both human and alien, began showing similar symptoms. The medical bay was soon filled with a diverse array of beings, all exhibiting signs of a severe immune response. Amelia found herself working around the clock, coordinating with both Earth-based and off-world medical experts. The alien students, eager to help and learn, volunteered to assist in the medical bay. "It appears to be some kind of novel pathogen," Amelia explained during an emergency briefing. "It's affecting multiple species, which is highly unusual. We need to pool our knowledge if we're going to understand and combat this." The following weeks were a blur of research, treatment attempts, and sleepless nights. Amelia watched with pride as her alien students applied their unique perspectives to the problem. Blob, with its intimate understanding of cellular permeability, proposed a new method for delivering medication directly into affected cells. Kriak's species experience with rapid mutation led to insights about the pathogen's evolution, and Zixlif's ability to perceive energy patterns in living beings helped identify early signs of infection before physical symptoms appeared. Despite their efforts, the situation continued to worsen. The illness spread beyond the Academy, affecting both the local human population and the small avian community that had settled near the campus. One particularly challenging night, as Amelia pored over the latest test results, she felt a gentle touch on her shoulder. She looked up to see Zixlif, its skin dimmed with fatigue, but still shimmering with determination. "Instructor," it said softly, "I've been contemplating something. We've been approaching this problem from a predominantly human medical perspective. But what if we combined approaches from multiple species?" Amelia straightened, intrigued. "Go on." "Well," Zixlif continued, its skin brightening with excitement, "human immune systems are remarkably adaptable, yes? And my people, the Luminans, have a unique way of, well, programming our bioluminescent bacteria to respond to specific threats. What if we could somehow combine these approaches?" Amelia's eyes widened as she grasped the implications. "You're suggesting we use Luminan techniques to enhance human immune responses." "Zixlif, that's brilliant." The next day, Amelia presented Zixlif's idea to the medical team. It was a radical proposal, combining human immunology with alien biotechnology. There were risks, certainly, but with the illness continuing to spread, they were running out of options. "It's unprecedented," Amelia admitted to her colleagues. "But then again, so is this entire situation. I believe it's worth trying." With approval from both Earth's medical authorities and the Galactic Federation's Bioethics Committee, they began their bold experiment. The process was painstaking. Blob's expertise in cellular structures proved invaluable as they worked to adapt Luminan bioluminescent bacteria to human biology. Kriak's understanding of rapid adaptation helped them predict and mitigate potential side effects. After days of non-stop work, they were ready for the first trial. The volunteer was a young human nurse named Sarah, one of the first to fall ill. As they administered the treatment, Amelia held her breath. Sarah's body began to glow faintly, her skin taking on a subtle luminescence. For a tense hour, nothing seemed to change. Then gradually, Sarah's fever began to subside. "It's working," Amelia breathed, hardly daring to believe it. "It's actually working." The medical bay erupted in a cacophony of cheers, chirps, and burbles. Alien and human medical staff embraced, their differences forgotten in the joy of their shared achievement. Over the next few days, they refined the treatment and began administering it to other patients. The recovery rate was remarkable. Those treated began to glow with a faint, healthy luminescence, a visible sign of the alien bacteria working in harmony with human immune systems. As the crisis subsided, Amelia found a moment to reflect. She watched as human and alien students worked side by side, monitoring patients and discussing the implications of their breakthrough. "You know," she said to Zixlith, who was assisting nearby, "when we started this exchange program, I never imagined we'd end up creating an entirely new field of medicine." Zixlith's skin shimmered with what Amelia had come to recognize as a smile. "Isn't that the beauty of exchange, instructor? We come together, share our knowledge, and create something greater than the sum of its parts." Amelia nodded, feeling a profound sense of hope for the future. This crisis had been a trial by fire, but it had forged something precious, a true collaboration between species and a new frontier in medical science. As news of their breakthrough spread, the Academy was flooded with messages from across Earth and the galaxy. Medical researchers were eager to learn more, to explore the possibilities of this human-alien medical hybrid. Amelia knew that there would be challenges ahead. Ethical considerations, long-term effects, and the intricacies of interspecies medicine were just the beginning. But as she looked at her students, human and alien alike, she felt confident that they were ready to face whatever came next. The Galactic Medical Exchange Program had begun as an educational initiative. Now, it stood at the forefront of a medical revolution that promised to change the face of healthcare across the galaxy. As the recovered patients were discharged, their skin still faintly glowing, Amelia couldn't help but smile. It was a visible reminder of what could be achieved when different species came together, sharing their knowledge and overcoming their differences. The next phase of their journey was about to begin, and Amelia couldn't wait to see where it would lead them. Surgical marvels and ethical dilemmas. The success of the hybrid immune therapy had brought unprecedented attention to the Galactic Medical Exchange Program. As the Academy entered its third phase, Dr. Amelia Chen found herself facing a new challenge, introducing alien students to the complex world of human surgery. Today, Amelia announced, standing before a holographic operating theater, we'll be observing a groundbreaking procedure, a brain-computer interface implantation. The alien students buzzed with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. Blob's gelatinous form quivered. "You mean to say humans allow themselves to be cut open?" Amelia nodded. "Yes, Blob. Human surgery is invasive, but it's often necessary to save or improve lives." As they watched the intricate procedure unfold, Amelia explained each step, from the initial incision to the delicate placement of neural sensors. Zixlith's skin flickered rapidly. "Fascinating. But instructor, doesn't this artificial interface alter the patient's very essence?" Amelia paused, recognizing the ethical dilemma at the heart of Zixlith's question. "That's a complex issue, Zixlith. Human medical ethics constantly grapple with questions of identity, consent, and the boundaries of intervention." The discussion that followed was heated. Some alien students were amazed by the precision of human surgery, while others were horrified by its invasiveness. Kriak chirped anxiously, "But what if the technology is misused? Could it not be employed to control rather than heal?" Amelia nodded gravely. "You've touched on a crucial point, Kriak. The potential for misuse is why we have strict ethical guidelines and oversight in medical research and practice." As the debate continued, Amelia realized that this exchange wasn't just about teaching surgical techniques, it was about exploring the philosophical and ethical foundations of medicine across different species. The theoretical discussions were put to the test sooner than anyone expected. A week later, an emergency case arrived at the Academy's medical center, a young human patient with a rare, aggressive brain tumor. "Traditional treatments have failed," Amelia explained to her students. The patient's only hope is an experimental nanosurgical procedure. The alien students gathered around as Amelia outlined the proposed treatment, a swarm of microscopic robots that would be injected into the patient's bloodstream to target and destroy the tumor cells. This procedure has never been performed on a human before, Amelia admitted. We're venturing into unknown territory. The medical team debated the risks and potential benefits. The alien students, drawing on their unique perspectives, offered insights that the human doctors hadn't considered. Zixlith suggested using bioluminescent markers to track the nanobots, while Blob proposed modifications to the nanobot shells to improve their navigation through human tissue. As the discussion progressed, a fundamental question emerged. Was it ethical to perform such an experimental procedure on a human patient? In my culture, Kriak said softly, we believe that the natural end of life should be accepted with grace. Is it right to go to such extreme measures? Amelia nodded, acknowledging the weight of the question. In human medicine, we often grapple with the balance between extending life and ensuring its quality. Ultimately, we respect the patient's right to make informed decisions about their own care. After hours of deliberation, and with the informed consent of the patient and their family, the decision was made to proceed with the nanosurgery. The procedure was tense, with human and alien medical staff working in concert. Amelia watched with pride as her students applied their unique knowledge to support the human surgical team. Hours later, as the patient was wheeled into recovery, Amelia gathered her students. Today, we've witnessed more than just a medical procedure. We've seen the power of combining diverse perspectives to push the boundaries of what's possible in medicine. The alien students nodded, their various appendages and sensory organs conveying a mix of awe and contemplation. As they left the operating theater, Amelia knew that the ethical discussions sparked by this event would continue long into the future. The Galactic Medical Exchange Program was not just bridging the gap between species, it was shaping the future of medicine itself. The power of the human mind. As the Galactic Medical Exchange Program entered its fourth phase, Dr. Amelia Chen decided to focus on a topic that had fascinated her alien students from the beginning: the human brain and its remarkable plasticity. Today, Amelia announced, we'll be exploring the frontiers of neuroscience and the power of the human mind. She began with an overview of human brain structure and function, noting the alien students' reactions as she described concepts like neuroplasticity and the brain's ability to rewire itself. Zixlith's skin rippled with excitement. Instructor, are you saying that human brains can change themselves? Amelia nodded, smiling. Exactly, Zixlith. Our brains are constantly adapting, forming new neural connections in response to experiences and learning. The alien students were captivated. Blob burbled thoughtfully. This explains so much about human adaptability. But how can we observe this process? In response, Amelia introduced the class to various brain imaging technologies. They watched in awe as real-time scans showed a human brain responding to different stimuli. As the lessons progressed, Amelia noticed that her alien students were particularly intrigued by human meditation practices. Kriak chirped curiously, you mean humans can alter their brain states through thought alone? This curiosity led to an unexpected development. The alien students, eager to understand the human mind better, volunteered to participate in a series of meditation experiments. Over the next few weeks, human and alien students worked together, exploring various meditation techniques and monitoring their effects on different species' brain activity. The results were astounding. While the specific effects varied between species, all participants showed increased mental focus and emotional regulation. More surprisingly, some alien students began to exhibit enhanced telepathic abilities. Zixlith, whose species had always possessed limited empathic abilities, found that regular meditation dramatically increased its capacity to sense and communicate emotions. This discovery led to excitement throughout the scientific community. Could human meditation techniques be the key to unlocking latent psychic potential in other species? As news of their findings spread, the Academy became a hub for researchers interested in interspecies cognitive enhancement. Amelia found herself at the center of a new field of study that combined neuroscience, alien biology, and human mindfulness practices. The implications were profound. Not only were they uncovering new aspects of alien physiology, but they were also developing new tools for intergalactic communication and understanding. As this phase of the program came to a close, Amelia reflected on how far they had come. What had started as a simple exchange of medical knowledge had evolved into a revolutionary exploration of consciousness itself. The boundaries between species were blurring, and a new era of galactic cooperation seemed to be dawning. Graduation and lasting impact. The final day of the Galactic Medical Exchange Program arrived with a mixture of excitement and nostalgia. The Academy's auditorium was filled with a diverse array of beings from across the galaxy, all gathered to celebrate the graduating class. Dr. Amelia Chen stood at the podium, looking out at the faces, both human and alien, that she had come to know so well over the past year. "When we began this program," she started, her voice filled with emotion, "we thought we were embarking on a simple exchange of medical knowledge. What we've achieved is so much more." She went on to recount their journey, from the initial culture shocks to the groundbreaking medical innovations they had developed together. "You've not only learned about human medicine," Amelia continued, "you've helped reshape it. And in doing so, you've laid the foundation for a new era of intergalactic healthcare." As she spoke, holographic displays showcased their achievements: the hybrid immune therapy that had saved countless lives, the nanosurgical techniques that pushed the boundaries of medical intervention, and the cognitive enhancement studies that promised to revolutionize interspecies communication. When the time came to present the diplomas, each graduate, human and alien alike, glowed with pride. Zix's skin shimmered with patterns of joy, Blob's gelatinous form quivered with excitement, and Kriak's feathers were puffed up in a display of accomplishment. After the ceremony, as the graduates mingled and said their goodbyes, Amelia found herself surrounded by her alien students. "Instructor Chen," Zix said, its voice melodious with emotion, "we cannot thank you enough for this experience. You've opened our eyes to the wonders of human resilience and ingenuity." Blob burbled in agreement, "Indeed. We came to study human medicine, but we've learned so much more about cooperation, adaptability, and the power of diverse perspectives." Kriak chirped softly, "We will carry these lessons back to our home worlds. Who knows what further innovations may arise as we apply this knowledge to our own medical practices." Amelia felt a lump in her throat. "And we've learned just as much from you," she said. "This exchange has shown us that the future of medicine, indeed, the future of our species, lies in collaboration and mutual understanding." As the graduates departed, returning to their home worlds or moving on to new adventures, Amelia knew that this was just the beginning. The connections forged and the knowledge shared would continue to ripple out across the galaxy. The Galactic Medical Exchange Program had done more than teach medicine. It had fostered understanding between diverse species, pushed the boundaries of science, and opened up new possibilities for the future of healthcare throughout the universe. As Amelia watched the last shuttles depart, carrying her students to the far reaches of the galaxy, she smiled. The next class would be arriving soon, bringing new challenges, new perspectives, and new opportunities for discovery. The journey, she realized, was far from over. In fact, it had only just begun.